Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve their goals effortlessly while others struggle? Today, we're diving deep into the world of self-discipline and motivation. Often these two concepts are confused, thought to be the same. Yet, they are uniquely different and vital in their own ways. Throughout this video, we will explore, compare, and dissect these twin engines that drive success. So buckle up and prepare for an insightful journey as we unravel the mystery between self-discipline and motivation. Self-discipline, a term we often throw around, but what does it really mean? Let's delve into the heart of this concept. Self-discipline, in its simplest form, is the ability to override one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. It's about being able to pursue what one thinks is right, despite temptations to abandon it. It's the inner power that pushes you to get out of bed for an early morning run, to say no to that extra slice of cake, or to buckle down and finish a task even when you'd rather be doing anything else. But it's more than just willpower or an ironclad resolve. It's about setting clear goals and making steady progress towards them, even when the journey is arduous. It's about understanding the difference between what you want now and what you want most. It's about making choices that may be tough, but will ultimately lead to success. Self-discipline is an essential ingredient in the recipe for achieving long-term goals and maintaining consistency. It's the driving force that keeps you on track when motivation wanes and challenges arise. It's the bridge between goals and accomplishment, between dreaming and doing. Consider a marathon runner. They don't just wake up one day and decide to run 26 miles. They train day in and day out, pushing their body to the limits, often in less than ideal conditions. They make sacrifices like giving up leisure time or favorite foods. That's self-discipline. It's a commitment to a goal and a willingness to do what it takes to reach it. Self-discipline doesn't mean living a restrictive or a joyless life. On the contrary, it leads to a profound sense of satisfaction, a deep sense of achievement that comes from knowing you've done your best and you've done what's required. It's about being in control of your actions and, in turn, your life. In essence, self-discipline is the secret sauce to consistent achievement. It's the inner strength that helps you control your actions, overcome obstacles, and make consistent progress towards your dreams. Without it, even the simplest goals can seem out of reach. With it, there's no limit to what you can achieve. But how does self-discipline manifest in real life? Let's delve into some specific examples to get a clearer picture. Take education, for instance. Consider a student who has the self-discipline to consistently review their notes and complete homework assignments, even when they'd rather be playing video games or hanging out with friends. This student isn't driven by the immediate pleasure of relaxation or entertainment, but by the long-term goal of academic success. Now let's shift our focus to fitness. Imagine someone who sets a goal to lift weights to gain muscle for athletic performance. They know the pain and discomfort with growth and recover, yet they get off the couch, put on their workout clothes, and head to the gym regardless of the weather or how they're feeling. This individual isn't motivated by the instant gratification of a cozy bed, but by the eventual achievement of a challenging physical feat. In terms of personal finance, self-discipline can make a world of difference. Think about someone who meticulously tracks their spending, consciously avoids impulse purchases, and regularly puts money into savings. They're not swayed by the immediate satisfaction of a new gadget or a lavish vacation, but by the long-term security of a robust nest egg. Lastly, let's discuss relationships. Consider a couple who, despite the occasional disagreement or misunderstanding, consistently communicates openly and honestly with one another. They don't allow the heat of the moment to dictate their actions, but instead stay focused on the long-term health and happiness of their relationship. In each of these examples, self-discipline is the driving force behind the actions taken. It's the ability to resist short-term temptations or comforts in favor of long-term benefits. It's the determination to stick to a plan, even when the going gets tough. It's the inner strength that propels individuals toward their goals, even in the face of adversity. As you can see, self-discipline can be a game changer in different aspects of life. It's not about being perfect or never having fun, but about making choices that align with your long-term goals and values. And that, my friends, is the power of self-discipline. Now let's switch gears and talk about motivation. What is it really? So, you've heard about motivation, right? It's that thing that keeps you going when you're tired or when the going gets tough. But let's break it down a bit more. Motivation is, at its core, the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. It's the driving force behind our goals in the first place. Think of it as the fuel for your mental and emotional engine. Without it, your engine may sputter and stall, but with it, you can power through even the most challenging of situations. Motivation gives us the push to start, the energy to continue, and the resilience to overcome obstacles. Now, motivation can come in different forms. It can be intrinsic, which means it comes from within you. This could be a personal goal, a passion, or simply the satisfaction you get from doing something well. On the other hand, motivation can also be extrinsic, which means it comes from outside sources. Maybe it is a commitment to someone else, or a goal or commitment that you made public. This could also be rewards, recognition, or the fear of negative consequences. Whether it's intrinsic or extrinsic, motivation can act as a catalyst for action and change. It can help you get out of bed in the morning, tackle that big project at work, or even run a marathon. It's what gets the ball rolling, so to speak. But remember, while motivation can provide that initial push, it often fluctuates. It can be affected by various factors such as mood, environment, and even physical health. That's why it's important to not rely solely on motivation, but also develop self-discipline as they work hand in hand. In a nutshell, motivation is not just about being in the mood to do something. It's about understanding why you want to do something and using that understanding to propel you forward. Motivation, therefore, is the initial spark that ignites the fire of action. But how does motivation show up in our daily lives? Think about a marathon runner. Hours into the race, legs aching, breath ragged, the finish line still a distant dream. What keeps them going? It's not merely the physical training they've undergone, but the motivation that drives them. The desire to finish, to overcome, to achieve. Or consider a student, nights spent poring over textbooks, the lure of social media, or a night out with friends beckoning. Yet, they remain focused, their eyes on the prize. Graduation, a diploma, a bright future. This is motivation in action, the internal drive that propels them to make sacrifices today for a better tomorrow. What about entrepreneurs? Those brave souls who venture into the unknown, risking financial security, personal comfort, and often sanity to bring their visions to life. It's not the prospect of profits that fuels their journey, but a burning desire to create, innovate, and make a difference. Let's not forget about the everyday heroes among us. The single mother working 2 jobs to provide for her children, the volunteer spending weekends at the local shelter, the teacher staying late to help a struggling student. Their actions are fueled by motivation, a deep-seated desire to improve, to contribute, to make the world a better place. Motivation isn't just about grand gestures or monumental efforts. It's also found in the small, seemingly insignificant actions we take each day. Choosing a salad over a burger, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, reading a book instead of watching TV. These choices, driven by motivation towards better health, fitness, or knowledge, may seem trivial in isolation, but cumulatively, they can lead to significant changes. Motivation, then, is not an abstract concept, but a real, tangible force that influences our decisions and actions. It's an internal drive that pushes us to go beyond our comfort zone, to strive for more, to persist in the face of adversity. Clearly, motivation can be a powerful force driving us towards our goals. So, how do self-discipline and motivation interact with each other? Well, imagine self-discipline and motivation as 2 sides of the same coin. They work hand in hand, each complementing the other, forming a powerful force that propels us forward. Motivation is the spark that ignites our desire to achieve something, while self-discipline is the engine that keeps us moving, even when the road gets tough. Think of it this way. Motivation plants the seed of a goal, and self-discipline nurtures that seed into a full-grown tree. Motivation is what gets you excited about a new fitness regimen, a new course, a new project. It's that initial rush of energy, that can-do spirit that makes you feel invincible. But let's be honest, motivation can be a fickle friend. It comes and goes, ebbs and flows. One day you're ready to conquer the world, and the next, you'd rather stay in bed. That's where self-discipline steps in. It's the sturdy bridge that carries you over the motivation valleys. It's what gets you out of bed for that early morning run when you'd rather sleep in. It's what makes you stick to your study schedule when you'd rather be watching TV. In essence, motivation gets the ball rolling, but self-discipline keeps it in motion. Self-discipline is the steady flame that keeps burning long after the spark of motivation has fizzled out. It's the commitment to stick to the plan, even when the initial enthusiasm has faded. Now, don't get me wrong. Motivation is not the villain of the piece. It's an important part of the process. It's the catalyst for action. But it's self-discipline that provides the consistency, the persistence, the grit. It's the force that keeps us going, even when the motivation is nowhere to be found. So, to answer our initial question, self-discipline and motivation are not mutually exclusive. They are interdependent. They need each other to function effectively. Motivation provides the initial push, the inspiration, the why. Self-discipline provides the how. It's the tool that helps us turn our motivation into action, our dreams into reality. In the dance of personal growth and achievement, motivation leads with a flashy opening number, drawing the audience in. Self-discipline then takes over, providing the steady rhythm that carries the performance through to the grand finale. Where motivation might fall short, self-discipline picks up the slack. And together, they create a performance that is not only captivating but also enduring. But what happens when we lack self-discipline and motivation? Imagine a ship without a rudder, adrift in the vast ocean. This is a metaphor for a life without self-discipline and motivation. Both elements are the rudder that guides us, providing direction and purpose to our actions. Without them, we become like that ship, adrift and at the mercy of the currents. Take, for instance, the story of John. John was a man full of potential, with dreams of becoming a successful entrepreneur. But he lacked self-discipline and motivation. His days were often spent procrastinating, wasting time on non-productive activities. His lack of discipline prevented him from taking the necessary steps to launch his business. As a result, his dreams remained just that, dreams forever unfulfilled. Then there's the tale of Mary. Mary was a brilliant student with aspirations of becoming a renowned scientist. However, without motivation, she found it difficult to dedicate herself to her studies. Her grades began to slip, and soon her dreams of a scientific career started to fade. The lack of motivation had taken its toll, leading to missed opportunities and unrealized potential. The absence of self-discipline and motivation can lead to a life of mediocrity, unfulfilled dreams, and regret. It can result in a lack of progress, stagnation, and even failure. The potential pitfalls are numerous, and the consequences can be severe. Consider the countless individuals who've had dreams of writing a book, starting a business, or running a marathon. How many of them have actually realized those dreams? And how many have allowed their lack of discipline and motivation to keep them from even starting? It's important to understand that self-discipline and motivation are not just about achieving big dreams. They are also about the small daily tasks that lead to overall success and fulfillment. They involve making choices, often difficult ones, that align with our goals and values. Without self-discipline and motivation, our goals and dreams can remain just out of reach. And that, my friends, is a danger we should all strive to avoid. So, what can we glean from our exploration of self-discipline and motivation? Let's take a moment to distill the essence of our discussions. We started by defining self-discipline and motivation, two crucial elements that shape our lives, our goals, and our personal growth. Self-discipline, as we discovered, is about the ability to control one's feelings and overcome weaknesses. It's about persisting through difficulties and maintaining focus on our goals, regardless of distractions or setbacks. We then dived into motivation, the driving force that initiates and directs behavior. It's the spark that lights the fire, the initial push that gets us moving towards our objectives. We delved into real-life examples showcasing the power of these two forces, painting vivid pictures of lives transformed by self-discipline and motivation. But it's not just about understanding these concepts in isolation. We explored their interplay, how they feed into each other and work in tandem to propel us forward. Motivation sets the wheels in motion, but it's self-discipline that keeps them turning, even when the road gets tough. We also didn't shy away from the darker side of the story, the dangers of lacking self-discipline and motivation. A life without them is akin to a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly in the ocean of existence. The absence of these elements can lead to unfulfilled potential, missed opportunities, and a sense of dissatisfaction. The key takeaway is this: self-discipline and motivation are not just desirable traits, they're essential. They're the building blocks of success, the tools we need to carve our path in life. They're the difference between dreaming about our goals and actually achieving them. But remember, while these elements are both crucial, they serve different roles. Motivation is the spark, the initial push. It's what gets us started. But it's self-discipline that keeps us going, that ensures we stick to our path and see our journey through to the end. Remember, motivation might start the journey, but it's self-discipline that crosses the finish line.